Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comics creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And once again, I got this guy.
Yeah, boy. What's up, brother? How we doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Chilling.
Your comic book live is fulfilled. I don't know. You're doing work. I mean, we're indie guys. You know what I mean?
I'm always fulfilling.
You
So,
put one letter on the page. Hey, you're making progress, right?
There you go.
Good, man. So I hear you got a hell of a talented lineup on tonight's show, buddy.
Yes, we do.
Why don't you start bringing them out?
All right. Well, we got our co-host on, Mr. Mark Torres.
All right.
This is Mark Torres, who came from the radio, the official Big Apple Con. I'm also the writer and creator of my book, Designated, which issue 2 is coming out this year, and I have a big announcement for you guys later on in the rest of the show. Thank you for having me.
All right,
cool. Allan, please introduce yourself.
My name is Allan Liska. I'm the owner of Green Archer Comics, and we make comics based on pulp characters.
All right, cool. Dan
Sehn, publisher of Thunder Zone Comics and Arc Comics. Just 20 years of publishing. So not quite JD, but I'm around there.
All right, you're breaking up a little bit, but you should be good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's up, Ben? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm sorry about that. Just this phone is acting weird.
That's all right. Do me a favor, introduce yourself.
My name is Ben Dunn. I'm the founder and Fenerick Press and co-creator of Ninja High School.
All right, cool. All right. So, I'm sure you guys have seen the show question.
Nope.
I'm busy watching a football game.
Good job, guys. Good job.
These guys' priorities.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I only sent this out 4 days ago. But so the question is, how important is community in indie comics, and how do you activate them? All right. So that's the question. Allan, you're in the hot seat, so please go first.
So actually, it's funny. We just did a community event today. So the timing of your show is perfect. When we ran our Green Archer comic back in the middle of last year, one of the things that we wanted to do was figure out how to build that community. We had a lot of fans, a lot of people who had backed us across, now at that time, 10 or 11 campaigns. And so the Green Archer is based on a 1923 book by Edgar Wallace, which was later turned into a few movies. And one of those movies was a 1961 movie. So today we held a screening of that movie for people who backed us at a certain level, like in a theater with popcorn, with soda, kind of all that other stuff. And then I bought in some of the artists who helped create the comic book to do signings and things like that. So it was a way for us to not only connect with our local fans, but give them, something kind of fun and unique to do in return, getting to see this movie, from the 60s up on the big screen. So that's one of the things that we're doing, is finding ways to let people know, hey, this is a cool thing that our backers and only our backers get to do, or our fans and only our fans get to do.
Nice.
Cool. Dan, you're up. What are your thoughts?
Well, before I start, I think Rosario there is like flexing on me with these action figures. I think I gotta adjust where I'm broadcasting from here. Let me get this going here. Where'd my camera go? All right.
There you go, Dan. All right.
There we go. I got there.
There you go, Dan.
There's
Yeah,
Galactus as well.
yeah, baby. That's how we do.
The brothers of Galactus are in the house.
There you go. And you have Giant Man too. So.
You got a Giant Man. That's right. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. All right. So community in comics. Yeah, I'm a big believer, of course, in community in comics. And steadily, that's why I actually started this Thunder Zone imprint, because I had been doing Argo comics for so many years, just as my own imprint with my own characters, but that lacked some community. So I figured, bringing in other creators and publishing their books, some from around the globe. The current Kickstarter has a book from a guy from Singapore. I never met him, but, became good friends through the internet. So, and I think we all use a community of artists and colorists and everything else. So, yeah, big believer in the community of comics.
All right. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I thought the movie. To understand, what do you mean by community? Are you just talking about just people at large, or are you talking about the community within the comic industry, or
the community within the comic industry,
or just trying to reach people in general?
The community within the comic book industry.
Okay. Well, we recently we did a convention recently last year called Antarcticon, where we put on a free event where we just invited we had as many creators and fans and readers to come and, partake in free comics and just hang around and talk and just mix it. And then we also invited the public at large to come in and, and be exposed to all the different creators' projects and comics and things like that. So that was one way we did it. Another way is just, to remain active online, spread the word, promote other people's works that you like, get involved with, I think social media is where all the action is. That's where you can reach a lot of people, very quickly, and just get them engaged. That's, to me, I think would be the thing that would really help, expand the reach of comics to everybody. Yeah, but anyway, the movie idea was a cool idea. I like that.
No, yeah, that was cool. All right, Mr. Mark, what are your thoughts? You're muted, Mark.
Yeah, hold on. The community is the foundation, I think, of the independent industry. I've known you guys, both Jays, for years, and I think that's part of it, is because we've known each other for so long that we're able to help each other out, promote each other out. I wouldn't be here now if I didn't know you guys for so long, and I didn't stay in the game. So I think it's crucial to the independent comic book community, and to activate that is just being present. I think just going in there, networking, meeting people at conventions, and being consistent, and always, at least the best as you can, do what you say you're going to do.
Okay, cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Mark touched on it, right? Another word for community is networking, right? And it's building up a group of people who can speak positively on your behalf when you're not around, right? On you and your product, and spread the word, or your working relationship. Say, oh, I'm not available to do something, but maybe Jay can work on it, or hey, we're looking at it in the chat right now. People talking about each other's books, right? That's community. That's putting it on. So yeah, it is strong, especially when you don't have enough money to put together a large scale marketing campaign. You could tap in to that community that follows you on a regular basis.
Well, and here's the question on that: do marketing campaigns even work? I mean, that's of course, that's been always the conventional wisdom. Oh, you've got a Kickstarter campaign, you got to take out Facebook ads. We don't get very good results from Facebook ads, and I'm perfectly willing to admit that maybe we suck at making Facebook ads, but we have much better luck with activating our mailing list, activating to a much lesser extent our Instagram following, our YouTube channel, getting people backing from there. Like I'm not even convinced that what is considered traditional marketing works that well for any of this.
It doesn't at all, Alan. I have a background in one of my past lives, right? None of us are spring chickens here, right? We've all had a couple of lives that we've lived. So one of that, I just sell beer in New York City, so I know how to activate the launch of a product in a supermarket, in a bodega, and in a bar. None of those three things can be applied to comic books the way we would activate a brand new beer. There's no way you can do that for a book in a comic shop or in a stationery or in a library, right? You can have small little things like free comic book day and stuff like that, but traditional business techniques cannot apply to comic books. So when I mentioned large scale marketing campaign, I don't even have the dollars to get to that point, so I can't answer, whether it would affect it or not. But then, what channels would you utilize when you have the money to put something like that together?
I find it funny as a very, very small publisher that what I see the larger publishers doing right now is coming to Kickstarter. So basically doing what we're doing because they can't figure it out either. And it makes me feel a little bit better that Marvel and DC and Boom and Dynamite can't figure out how to do large scale marketing campaigns effectively for their comic books. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not the crazy one. I mean, I'm not the crazy one, but at least not the crazy one about this.
Right. You're not alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer my own question, I think community is important. The reason I asked the question is, and I don't mean it as, us bringing in fans, right? Because that's the whole separate question, right? Is community is us, like the six of us and the dozens and dozens of other publishers that watch this show, right? That's the greater community I'm talking about. Is that like, how do we effectively help one another grow and expand our own readerships? And I don't mean just me expanding mine, but how do I help you guys? How do you guys, and will you guys reciprocate, right? Like, how do we get each other to help each other, right? Because I think that's the most important thing. Because, my books are different than Jay's books. Jay's books are different than Dan's books, so on and so forth. You understand? But there is some overlay, right, that we can have as a community, right? Because we're finding readers who like stuff other than what's being produced by Marvel and DC, right? Because I think that's what we have. We have people who want to read something different, right? They want something, whether it's different quality, quirky, weird, whatever it might be, they want something different, or else they wouldn't be with us. You know what I mean? They don't want to read Spider-Man. They don't want to read Thor or Superman or whatever. I mean, I love all those characters, right? But there does come a saturation point where you're just like, I've seen a lot of this. Right? How many Batmans can you read? To be honest with you, right? It's just sometimes you want to read something a little different. But again, the question is how do we help each other, right? And that's the question. That's the real thing that I want everybody to think about. In general, it's just like, how can we help each other, right? Because we know the guys at the top, they're not going to help us, right? Whether it be Boom, Dark Horse, whatever, Marvel, DC, they're not helping us, right? That has no interest in their game to us. But how do we help each other, right, as small independent guys, right? So that's what I want everybody to think about. That's what I want everybody to, like, try to come together, not necessarily right this moment, but to think about, like, reach out to another creator, you understand, and, maybe cross-promote in some way. Reach out to somebody you don't know, right? Allan, I don't know Allan from anywhere, right? But I saw his campaign on Kickstarter. I was like, let me invite him to my show, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about reaching out to people you don't know and trying to bring them in. And hopefully it says, okay, hopefully I can give Allan a few more backers. You understand? 6 months down the line, maybe Allan say, hey, listen, JD's putting out something, and say, oh, I'll share his post somewhere. right? And that might get me a couple backers. You understand? And so on and so forth, right? And that's what I mean by community. How do we activate each other, right? So that was my thought process. So, Mr. Rosario, you're
Okay.
up.
So I'm formulating this question based on what I know about Mark and what Ben and Allan just said. I know you guys do community-driven events, right? You mentioned Antarcticon. Allan, you mentioned the movie theater experience you had for people today. Mark, I know you do library events. Going back to my past life, right? When we would promote a beer that was going to be at a bar, we would hold a radio spot ad. And the fee for the radio ad was shared between us, the distributor, and the event. So Jimmy's Bar and Grill, whatever, would pay a portion of that radio ad, right, to drive people there. So what kind of other promotional marketing events within your budget can you do to generate awareness of your product?
Right, cool.
Or you know what? Outside of your budget, if you had the dough to do it, what would you do?
All right, Dan, you're up.
Well,
Well, the thing about the comic industry I've learned these past decades is that, we're all individual creators, as you know. And, you have to sort of separate the individual creators who are doing their thing on their own with their own titles, their own characters, their own, projects, as opposed to something like, a small independent publisher who actually does multiple titles. Some of them are creator owned, some of them are company owned, and it's like there's a mix of that. The thing I found out more than anything is that in the comic book community, there's really very little loyalty in the comic community. Now, don't get me wrong, there's friendships, okay? You can have friendships in the comic book community, and that's really that's more important in my opinion. It's because, for us, creators come and go through Antarctic Press, and we don't own any creators' own creation. So they can bring it to us, we publish it, and if they want to leave, take it to another publisher or just do it on their own, they're free to do that. Okay, we have no expectation of them to stay. Now, as far as me helping other creators, we love to have creators bring their stuff to us. Some of it is good, some of it's not so good. Some of it is has potential. We always try to balance that as far as what we get from other creators. And then some creators, like, for example, Fred Perry, he's only worked for us. Okay, he came to Antarctic Press in 1989, and he has never left us. He's still working for us even to this day. He's never taken Gold Digger to any other publisher. You see, that's real loyalty, but it's also a friendship that we've garnered over the decades that he's worked for us. And we have several creators who are like that. Joe White is another example. He's been with us since the very beginning. When let's just say, for example, in Marvel and DC, they don't care. They have no loyalty to any of their creators, none. Okay, if you think that they care about one iota of the creators, they don't. Okay, they're disposable. Okay, and that's just the fact of the matter. But for us, the indie comics creators, we like to create relationships and friendships and build a community to make us, to help promote each other, just to help, hey, I like this guy. He's a good guy. He does great work. I love his work. I'm going to try to do something with him, or I'm going to try to promote him. See, a lot of times what I do is I see somebody with a character I like, or he's doing something, I'll contact him and say, hey, do you want to do a crossover? Do you want to sort of exchange ads maybe in each other's books? Maybe I can help do a cover for you, or you can do a cover for me, things like that. That builds, to me, real community, and lasting friendships and relationships. And that to me is where our strength lies as an independent comic community, because the big two, they don't care. They don't care. I hate to say that. I've worked for the big two, and the minute they're through with you, they just toss you like yesterday's trash. And that's a fact of the matter. Now, the only upside to them is that you get a steady paycheck, and they pay well. At least they used to. Sometimes you can make more money doing your own Kickstarter now than you can working for Marvel and DC these days. And just the sheer fact they're going to crowdfunding tells me that they're desperate. Okay, before they didn't have to do that. They were selling so many books. Crowdfunding, that's for little guys. That's for the small and the indie guys. They, now they're coming to Kickstarter. They're trying to crowd us out. They're trying to, overtake us. I always like to think that there's a bigger pie, the pie that can grow. But people, they order what they want. Because they want something different. I think in the comic community does that. I think what you guys are doing is great idea. I love the movie idea. I love being able to go to libraries, talk to the people, engagement. That's the important thing, is engagement. You got to engage. If people don't see your stuff, okay, they're going to forget it. That's why it's so important for us as a company and our press, is that we always try to have books every month. Every month we got to put something out, because you're not on the shelf, or are not putting something out, people will forget you. Okay, they'll say, I remember that book that came out 5 years ago. So also by engaging with other creators, you create a lifeline or friendship and things like that. They'll help you if in case something comes up that you're in a tough spot or something like that. And that's important too. The people are willing, the creators are willing to help each other, in things like in case something goes wrong. And to me that's what community is about. That's why I created things like the Ninja High School yearbooks, and that's why I created like the exciting comics and all those anthologies. People think, oh, anthologies, they're dead. No, anthologies, we need them, because that's a perfect way for up and coming creators to get their stuff out there without us as a company committing to the expense of a mini series or a large series or something like that. And then if it to me, that's our way, my way of reaching out to the community and creating strong bonds. And that's, to me, that's how our community should be. Of course, we have a lot of egos at play. I always say trying to get comic book creators to agree on things like herding cats. So, it's just one of those things. But, just by us talking, making connections, coming up with ideas and things that we can help improve, our exposure to the wider audience, this is what we want, right? We want to reach as many people as we possibly can, because we want to make a living doing this, right? So if we can do that and help each other out, then I think that's a good thing.
Ben, I got a question for you. I know obviously Boom, IDW, I don't know if Dark Horse has entered, but we've seen a few of these companies come in. We haven't seen Marvel or DC make any movement into this space, have they?
They'll come eventually. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I think they'll come in eventually too. But hopefully that'll be a couple years.
Yeah, because they got 80 years worth of material. Okay, and they could just reprint like those omnibuses they're collecting. I mean, they've already collected like the Thundercats omnibus that Marvel did, right? And the G.I. Joe that Marvel did. So in a roundabout way, they're already doing Marvel stuff. And so they made millions of dollars. The thing about it is that sooner or later, all it takes is somebody at corporate to say, "Hey, why aren't we doing this?"
True. I mean, but hopefully they're too busy.
Let's hope.
Making some movies. All right, Allan, what are your thoughts?
So, it is as kind of an owner of one of these. I mean, one of the ways I build communities, I hire artists, right? I hire artists and I make sure I pay them, quickly, so that, when the work's done, they get paid right away. So that helps, obviously, because it lets more people work. We've offered, when we have space at a table at a con, we've offered other creators to share, table space with us, so that we can kind of bounce off each other. And then, definitely things like this, but also text chains that I'm on with other creators, where we kind of share ideas, Slack channels, Discord channels, things like that. I try not to get too much of that, only because that can basically suck up your whole day. But where we can help each other out, I think is really important. And I do that on our YouTube channel. We do review a lot of indie comics as well as the big two. And in fact, on New Year's Eve, I did indie comic marathon, where every hour on the hour I released a new short for that, so that it wasn't a lot of views on any individual video at first, but because they were all linked together, eventually they kind of all caught up and went and did it. Now, we're a small YouTube channel, but it's still something out there that's doing it. And the other thing is, I buy indie comics, right? I put my money where my mouth is, and make sure that I'm, buying from other small creators. And then, when there's campaigns, sharing those campaigns. When there's not, if I'm excited about it, telling people about it, etc. So that's, that's definitely a way that we're trying to help build community out there. A creator community, I should say.
Nice.
All right. Dan, are you there?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the question?
Well, as far as what's within budget as a promotional, I'll piggyback on what was just said, in the fact that in convention tables, I found that, I'll do art and I'll do commissions, but bringing in, I had Bill Mouse doing Sorority of Power, and he's gonna generate a lot more interest in the art commissions than I will, and brings more people to the table for books. So that was again New York Comic Con, which now, having moved to Florida, I have yet to return there, and I've yet to check out our local cons here. So in that respect, I'll say store signings also become a very attractive thing for myself, being that in a Comic-Con, of course, there's a lot of big names and favorites and cosplay and a lot going on that could be sensory overload to some degree. Whereas, at a store signing, I think you get a little more, people willing to flip through the books, ask you about everything. You could still do some sketching or whatever, but again, that's depending on how many are in your area and your travel plans, and if you're making contact with other stores. But I do find that to be a credible alternative to the Comic-Con.
All right, cool. Mark, what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking that, as Dan said, conventions, comic book stores are a great way to reach out on a low budget. On a no budget, you can actually reach out to different convention owners, even small ones. Like for me personally, we perform my comic as radio play, as I mentioned many times, at New York Comic Con. We have Trauma, Trauma, Toxic Avenger, they promoted us to do it. So that was a big deal. We brought in people who never heard of us, but they knew Trauma. They came to the panel and they watched the play. and we performed at a couple of other small conventions, most notably the MCon at the East Middle Public Library, who we have a great communication with. And I think that's an important thing to do, is to reach out to smaller places like that and have with no budget, doing that. Now, if you have a whole big bag of money, that is where the marketing comes into play. I am reminded, that's not me, I am reminded, by the way, of the very first New York Comic Con, how they spent $1 bazillion on just marketing, on bus shelters, and on top of the taxi cabs and all that kind of stuff. So if you have money, outside of the box thinking marketing is a way to go. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. But yeah, so no money, reach out to local comic book stores, reach out to places, reach out to libraries, reach out to book stores that you can do signing that. Like, hey, just talk to the owner, get a relationship going, say, hey, I have a book coming out. You know, can I get like an hour to do a quick signing or something, or a panel, or a presentation or something like that? Yeah, that's what I have to say. I got distracted. Is that good enough for you, JD?
All right, so you done?
Yeah.
All right. So, hold on. So, I think, Jay, when it comes out, you know, it's funny. I was watching comic book documentary on Tubi, of all places.
Oh wow, okay.
Right, and on Tubi, there was an ad for a local restaurant. And I thought it was hilarious. I immediately, or Daphne and I, because we were both watching it, she was like, "Oh yeah, Jay would start talking about this," because we were like, "Yeah, you know, it's a local. It was literally a local restaurant up here. You know, I'm in Queens, so it was up at Forest Hills, and they were talking about how you come to Forest Hills, and it was this cheesy little 30-40 second spot, whatever it was, but it's on Tubi, and it was during a comic book, you know, documentaries, which I thought was kind of funny, because I was like, yeah, I said, you know, if you were to advertise anything like that, that would be the place for us to advertise, right? During a comic book documentary, because the only people who are going to watch that stuff is going to be people who are interested, you know, in that sort of thing. So yeah, Tubi, that's where I would go.
Yeah, I like
you
that.
know, I have no idea what a 30-second spot would cost, but you know, I found it fascinating.
Yeah, nice. So I'm at Midtown Comics the other day, right? And they got a line and a half going around the corner. Excuse me. This is the downtown one. They got a line and a half going through the alleyway, and for somebody signing one of the Absolute Batman books, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm like, these guys are just there. They're missing the opportunity to capture the audience. Yeah, they're waiting for the guy to sign the book, but you got people on the Instagram, you got people watching the whatnot. They're not communicating. They're not interacting with each other. They're not engaging with each other, or the ones hosting the event, right? So who's to say that you can't bring in a higher level creator to do a signing at, you know, your local shop, and you co-sponsor it, right? And in co-sponsoring it, now you can give away a swag bag with some freebies with some of your stuff to the people that are waiting online, right? You capture them because they're there to see whatever brand new creator of their favorite book. But who's to say you can't piggyback on that? You remember the old Chia Pet commercials, right? You'd see it, and at the end of the Chia Pet, you'd see now available at Rite Aid, Walgreens, Duane Reade, X, Y, and Z local pharmacy. Who's to say we can't do that on the Tubi ad, right? You know, pick up my book, which is now available at XYZ comic shops, right? Or if it's local for a convention, same thing. You know, just just things that we can do that are outside of the box, right? Because what we keep doing is rehashing the same thing over and 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 over again. And saying, oh, nobody could see me. Well, because you're spending their money in the same fucking places that everybody else is flushing their money down the tubes on. Right? There's all these different things on Facebook, and they're dump farms to promote your stuff. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody interacts with that. Nobody promotes anybody. Nobody even says wow or it hits a like button. So it's dead space. So why do people continue to promote on these groups and things that it's not going to be effective? Right.
I just checked on Tubi. An ad, a 20-second ad, because they do 20-second spots, runs between $20 to $25 per 1,000 views.
Look at that.
That's not bad.
Look at that.
So probably only 1,000 people watching. No offense, the comic book documentary. So you're probably safe there. If you get like a really popular show, you may blow your budget pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, man. You see? Good way to be. This is how community helps. Look at that, guys.
So to your point, JD, because our first comic book was based on an old radio show, yours truly, Johnny Dollar. We actually advertise on our local NPR station on Sunday night because they do reruns of the old radio shows, specifically yours truly, Johnny Dollar. So there's a nice tie-in, and I promise you, we are the only comic book publisher advertising on NPR. So we've got a really unique space, and it's relatively cheap. And because we have now a collected graphic novel at at $40 a pop. Where and NPR people have money, we're able to kind of get them over and convert from there. So that's been effective for us, relatively low cost, but effective for us.
All right. I like that. That. You see, we're thinking outside the box. Way to be.
But I want to talk to you about that bodega advertising network, because I want to be in all the bodegas. That just sounds fun. Even if I don't make any sales, I just want to be in the bodegas.
So I don't know where you guys are at, right? But over here, a lot of the bodegas that I've gone to, I've been around, right? They've got the TV up there, right? Mm-hmm. They've got the big monitor flashing their boar's head sandwiches, right? Now, I know, so I ran a convention here in New York. It was in Brooklyn. It was in 2019, right? And we had monitors up there. And they would cycle for 5 minutes, right? It was a 5-minute loop. But we sold 30-second spots of just a still static image within that 5-minute loop. And people would see that, and they find out what booth that other person is at, all right? Whatever, we sold it for an extra $100, but it worked out. And that generated sales for that people. Wow, for those people. Did they cover their entire expense budget? I don't know, but it got eyes on their product. And that's what we got to do. We got to get eyes on our product.
Yeah. This is very true. This is what the press is needed for, and we have Guardians. So, Allan, do you want to play this video? Allan?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I can play the video.
Okay.
But wait, will that work for me if I play it?
Oh, I was going to play it here.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Very cool.
All right, Allan, talk us through this. What do we have?
So the Press Guardian was a pulp comic character from the 1940s, specifically 1940. And he was defender of the freedom of the press. So last year we bought it back. First we did the Press Guardian and the Clock, 1942. So with the two original characters. And then we started a new press guardian, his granddaughter, who's kind of carrying on his tradition. So defender of the freedom of the press, and then annoyed that 85 years later she still has to punch Nazis. Is kind of thing. So if you like your heroes as badass redheads fighting for truth and punching Nazis, this is who you want. And we actually did a lot of research into how disinformation campaigns work, because we wanted to be able to tell the real story behind it with a lot of Nazi punching. So if you don't want to read how real campaigns work, at least you get to see Nazis get punched.
Yes.
And it's been a lot of fun doing this. One, I love researching when I'm creating a comic. I love making it as accurate as possible to that time. Like, when we did last year, we did a Buck Rogers comic, and we got caught out by our editor because we said he was a veteran of World War I, and when Buck Rogers happened, it wasn't World War I, it was still the Great War. And so, those little historical things are important to us. So, so this has been really a great comic to do, and we've really enjoyed this series. And, sad that it's coming to an end, but, this story's been told, and we want to go on and tell other stories.
All right, cool. Now, is this issue 2 of a 4-issue limited series, or is this it?
We're doing what every Kickstarter consultant advises against. This is issue 4, so it's the final issue, but we're also combining it with the trade. Since we have all the stuff we need for the trade, we're just going to go ahead and do both. So if you've kept up with us, you can just buy issue 4 and good to go. If this is your first time coming to the campaign, you can buy the trade and you have all 4 issues in a single comic, and you save a couple bucks because you're buying the trade. And again, every Kickstarter consultant will tell you that's stupid because you're leaving money on the table because you get them to buy the 4th issue. Then you do a separate campaign for the trade. I don't have that kind of energy, man. So if you're new, go buy the trade and you can have that. And in fact, we have, one tier that if you really like one of the covers, you can buy issue 4 and the trade and save it, and still save a couple bucks. But this is the 4th issue. So in the first issue, she was in Estonia dealing with a Russian disinformation campaign. In the second one, it was a back home in the U.S. where, and I know this is hard to believe, where there was a bunch of media manipulation on social media platforms that was causing problems. Then she was in Hong Kong, where there was, groups trying to get out information about Tiananmen Square, which is a real thing. Like, you can't talk about Tiananmen Square in Hong Kong anymore now that China's taken over. So she was, getting information out there to the people that do it and going up against Chinese government. So we are not selling our comic in Russia or China, just to be clear. And then for the final issue, she's back home in the States. And literally it's people in the U.S. government that are trying to silence her, and she has to fight back against that.
Nice.
All right. Cool.
And there's kicking, so not just only punching Nazis, there's kicking Nazis also based on the artwork.
So it's really funny and a little bit of misogyny in comic books. We in the first issue we made the point that she knows 21 different types of martial arts, and our editor was like, 21, is that too many? I'm like, Batman knows 138. Nobody ever questions that. I think 21's a little more reasonable if you've been training since you were 5. But yes, she knows how to kick, punch, and so on. And actually, again, when talking about doing the research, one of the things that we've been that I've tried to do is, okay, she's going to use this technique for this attack, and kind of hear examples of what these poses look like, and I kind of communicate that to the artist to make the martial. Given the style of the art, it's not super accurate, like physically accurate, but I want it to be as accurate as it can given the style of the art. This is our first comic. Like we kind of make the joke at Comic-Cons that our comics are typically for the cosplayers' dads. And this is our first comic that we made for the cosplayers.
Okay.
Nice.
And we made the art style like this specifically because we wanted it to be for the cosplayers.
Gotcha. So, all right. So, I mean, you got another 14 days. You already met your goal. So you got a few more days. Hopefully get a few more bucks in there for you. Now, are you looking to do future adventures with the Press Guardian?
Maybe. This year we're already slated with a full set of comics because we have the ConjureMan Dies coming in March. The Saint, he's now in the public domain. So we're going to do Meet the Tiger, which was the first Saint book in June. And then another Buck Rogers and another Johnny Dollar later. So we're already completely full for this year. And then in January of 2027, when the first Shadow novel goes into public domain, we're going to do a Shadow comic. And then, and then we'll see after that. But we're, again, very small publisher. Trying to do 8 comics in a year is a challenge for us. Unfortunately, Ben, we can't hit your, I guess Ben's gone. Sorry. If Ben, you come back, unfortunately, we can't hit your comic a month.
I'm here.
Yay!
I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. For some reason, it muted all you guys, and then it's like waited, and then they said the host muted me, and they say, "Oh my God, what's going on?" So
sorry about that. Yeah.
So
I'm here.
We can't hit Ben's a comic a month. So what I do in place of a comic a month is I send all of our followers a video of me doing karaoke to "Don't You Forget About Me," so that they remember us.
That's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah. So we're very, very full up this year for our plans for 2026.
And that's what I love about Indie Comics. You guys just come up with the best and weirdest and strangest ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's all we can do to try to get out there. Now,
that's right. That's what keeps us creative.
This is true. And talking about creative, the Thunder Zone.
Oh,
Dan, you want me to play this video? Dan,
play it. Play it for him. Go ahead, baby.
Let's play it.
Whether he's a boy, whether she's a girl, one thing they'll do is save the world. Whether she's a woman, whether he's a man, one thing they'll do is take a stand. There's no comics, there's heroes of all kinds. Thunderzone Comics, amazing stories across time. Away he goes. Comics, where there's heroes of all kind. Thunderzone Comics, amazing stories across time.
Thunderzone Comics returns. 5 all-new comics: Sumo Boy, Weirdo, Marshall Strong, Big House Blues, and Supercross. Plus a free how to draw a character. Thunderzone bringing you back all 5 new releases. Kickstarter is live now.
Dan, did you see that?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
Oh, Dan, bro.
Oh, I brought it back. There he is. Dan, can you hear us? You're breaking up, buddy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you kill the video, you can still talk. You back up. I'll just scroll through for now.
Okay, Sumo Boy. All right.
Sumo Boy. Hold on, let me see.
Rocking soundtrack.
All
right. Dan,
you
you there?
hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Now, I should point out that Sumo Boy, Weirdo, and Big House Blues are my 3 books in this campaign. Are you getting a lot of static, or is that just me?
Get a lot of static.
I'm getting a lot of static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I left the studio to try to re-enter.
Yeah, we had to reset your audio or something.
Yeah.
That's the problem I had.
Let's see.
All right. Well,
Give
you
us one more.
got a super chat there, bud. We got a super chat today from Gnarly Manga. Howdy, fellas. The indie comic community is super important. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, brother.
Thank you, Gnarly Man.
Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? I didn't even know we had super chats on.
What?
Like, I just don't pay attention to that section of it. It was just
Well, you better pay attention then. You
I'm
gotta.
not paying attention, I guess. All right.
We need a super chat
So-
sound.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to wait for Dan. We're going to pull up somebody else's campaign. Let's see what's going on. Ben, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. I got Fur Force up. So do you want me to play this video?
Sure, why not? It's not as professional as Dan's, but
Ben, are you there?
Yeah.
Ben?
Okay.
All
Did
right.
we lose Ben? All right.
We lost Ben. I think we got Dan back, but we're going to give Ben a second to come back on. Ben, are you there?
I think JD's tech department needs assistance.
Well, it's not on my end.
Yeah.
It's not on my end. So. Dan, you there?
Yep.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
up on the phone. Back to the desktop. No fancy action figure background.
Okay.
Had to be
Gotcha.
sacrificed.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we pulled up Fur Force, and I'm waiting for. I don't know what happened to Ben. He backed out. All right. So let's go back to Dan, guys.
So
right.
Dan, the rocking soundtrack you had, whether that talk a little bit about that while he's pulling up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Was that you singing that song?
Oh yeah, lead vocals. Gene Simmons was on bass. Had Axl Rose doing a little background vocals.
There you go.
Nice. But talk to us. What do we got? Talk to us about Marshall Strong.
You want to roll up to the top, and I'll go book by book.
There we go. We'll start with Sumo Boy.
Yeah, I had Sumo Boy, which is he's a 1-ton kid. So there's a density to him, and it's tied into a Japanese myth that will reveal the origin in issue 2. But yeah, I have Raphael Angelis doing the art, and that's what mine sounded like before. And there's a painted cover by Alexander Nascimento.
Nascimento, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, my pronunciation wasn't that great there. Jay, was that right? Nacimiento?
Nacimiento.
Yeah, Nacimiento.
This art is by Raphael Langelis, but there's 2 L's, so it may be Langelia. I don't know.
Possibly.
Should be. And yeah, we have issue 2 of Weirdo, with just a bizarre character, a little more zany. I want to give a little variety in the books. So that's the alternate cover by Jardel Cruz. And Eduardo Viena did the interior art here, where we bring in the Weirdo Mobile.
So Dan, are you writing all of these books, or are these from other creators? What's going on with these?
Yeah, Thunder Zone again is a bunch of different creators. I wrote those 2, but Mike Charnes wrote Marshall Strong.
Okay.
So this is his 3rd issue, and we have all the back issues. Rather than like have a laundry list, we have 29 books that have come out by Thunder Zone now. I just have like a catch-all add-on to get any back issue you want.
Cool.
So I have like all the covers listed in here, but if you missed Marshall Strong 1 and 2, coming in on Marshall Strong 3, there you have it. You know, just add that in ×2, and in the survey we'll say, you know, what are your add-ons, and you say Marshall Strong 1 and 2, or this is Big Ass Blues number 4, wrapping up the first arc. So 1, 2, and 3, again available as add-ons, and this is issue 4. Evan Quering did this variant cover here, with we have a kind of a riot going on, because Big House Blues is a supervillain maximum security prison with superheroes as the corrections officers.
Gotcha. Nice.
It's in Texas, where if Ben was here, he would appreciate that.
Hold on. Sure. Let me see the easy back.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, man.
Oh, you're good, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're just going through
Dan's man.
We're just going through Dan's.
My StreamYard is acting really weird. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I should point out actually that Weirdo, Sumo Boy, and Big House Blues were serialized in Ben's Exciting Comics.
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yep. So now, you know, they're serialized into chapters, and now we have like collected in issue format. We have the full issues of Sumo Boy, Big Ass Blues, and Weirdo that Ben was generous enough to publish in Exciting Comics, which was a big thrill for me, being that 1989 Ninja High School yearbook #1 purchased in St. Mark's Comics in Manhattan.
Oh, very cool.
Following Ninja High School, Gold Digger, all those titles ever since. Benzene, there's of course, a laundry list of titles. But and then we have Supercross, which is published by Jerome Hines in Singapore. So that I brought into Thunder Zone. So again, it's not just my characters; they're all on the same Earth. It's kind of like early Image comics, where you have a bunch of different studios producing these books, but they're all on the same Earth. So we have a book, Thunder Guard, that brings a lot of these characters all together. And this is Jerome Hines doing the art as well as creating the characters. And he actually did a How to Draw a Thunder Zone book. So when backing all 5, we're adding that for free for people.
Cool.
Those are all the new releases. Those are all of the covers of the new releases. And then that's all of the
Is the How to Draw book a sneaky way of finding new artists for your company?
Yeah, we'll be training new artists that'll come in and be so addicted to doing the characters that they'll say, I have no choice. The only characters I know how to draw Thunder Zone. Being that I just bought that book and didn't buy Bridge or something.
All right, cool. Well, you've made your funding goal, and you got 48 backers. You got another 30 days to go, so you're good to go. What these titles? They're all limited series, I would imagine.
Yeah, all of them pretty much limited series. I just, I'll gauge it a little bit by public interest, and really go into like what people are responding to. We only had 2 issues of Weirdo. If people love Weirdo, I'll bring Weirdo back. Sumo Boy is a complete story arc, 4 issues. Big House Blues, a complete story arc, 4 issues. So these are all, I think Supercross has 5 issue story arc. Marshall Strong, I believe, has 6. So we're, completed these books are completed,
Right.
but all the other books are in various stages of completion, being that we're committed to keeping a regular schedule on these books. And, we're investing the money because we believe in them rather than you taking a chance that they won't come through. We've invested because we believe in the books and just, want people to be able to get them in their hands.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Everybody go check it out. Very nice. Now, Dan, one last question. All right. Hold on. Ben, you're back.
I don't know what's going on, my friend.
All right, you sound better now. So we'll
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
You sound good now. So all right. So we'll move forward with the Fur Force so you can start talking. So what we were looking at, Dan, I'll get back to you. I'm sorry.
Sure. So
Ben, Fur Force, what's the deal?
Yep. Well, I've always loved furry stuff, from the beginning of Antarctic Press. We did Albedo and Furlough and a bunch of other furry titles. So this is just my way of bringing them back. I created the Tomorrow Fox character. It's sort of like a furry version of Tomorrow Girl. And I thought, hey, across. I checked to see about the Hoppy, the Marvel Bunny, and I thought, those would make a great team. So I decided to go ahead and put together a title that put all those elements together. Just like in the vein of like Captain Carrot and his zoo crew. I don't know if you remember that comic, but I'm a big fan of that comic by Scott Shaw, and decided this is sort of like a little homage, wink, wink to my love for furry superhero comics from Captain Carrot, and that's why I just called it. It's decided to go ahead and bring it out.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Now, is this just a one shot? Or are you looking to do? Is this a limited series?
It's a limited series through AP for the direct market, but for the Kickstarter, it's a collected. It collects all 3 stories into one graphic novel.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Now, like I see all your various artists. Like, who's the main writer on these stories?
The writer is Larry Guidry. He also did our The Fat Man and Herbie, the Fat Fury crossover with Tomorrow Girl. And the artist is a new artist named Bernard Buber, and he's really talented. And coloring is by I can't remember. Shivi I can never pronounce his name. Sorry. He's in there. He's in the credits. So,
As long as he gets his credit.
and yeah,
Now, is Atomic Mouse a public domain character?
yes. As
Oh,
far as I
okay.
know.
All right. Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, it looks familiar, like I've seen it before. So yeah. All right, cool. I mean, listen, the book looks good, man. I mean, you got another 19 days to go. You're well above your goal. Got 125 backers. It's another one to go back, guys. Good looking book.
Thank you.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, it looks great, Ben. I just backed it. I hadn't seen it on there before, so well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Mark, Designated. Talk to me.
Designated, 30 years in the making, tells a story about two warring alien races fighting over a related story power source. The war finds its way to planet Earth, and as a result, some humans gain abilities. We have the issue 1 cover by Russ Braun, who draws the boys. It's inked by Peter Palmiotti. We have George Medina on letters. We also have the variant cover, which is sold out unless you get the digital version by Francesco. And that's the only time Francesco has ever been inked by anybody else, which would be Peter Palmiotti.
Interesting. Cool.
And actually, I forgot to take off the button. So there is the 50% off deal. So I'll leave that up for the rest of the day if you want to get the comics. And the best thing about this is that it's on Crowdfunder. So you not only do not have to sign up for Crowdfunder to get the book, but it also stays as a store. So once you pass the whatever time frame you want, it stays up as a store. So the book is always on sale until I run out of copies. Since we're looking at my book, I will mention that issue 2 is coming out this year. So hooray! It didn't take me 30 years to make issue 2 come out. I mean, the book is already all penciled and written. It's just a matter of being inked and lettered. We're working on the cover right now for issue 2. And as I mentioned earlier, I have my announcement, which is that as we did it for this issue, Troma did agree to present our book at New York Comic Con for this year. All we have to do is make sure we get approved by New York Comic Con to have a panel. So fingers crossed on that.
All right, cool. So, I mean, so your campaign is just like open forever?
Yep, it's open forever until I hit the button that says end it.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So I guess that is a good advantage from Crowdfunder. All right.
Yeah, and then you can press a little video to see Lloyd speak about us for 2 seconds. No, you got to go up, 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 up. You're going down, up. Another on the bottom right-hand corner. Little red button. Little triangle. Next word says share.
Wait a second. Are you talking on? Oh, I see.
Enjoy the amazing Troma Presents comic book premiere of Mr. Mark Torres, comic book called Designated. It's going to be an amazing event in 2023.
All right, cool. All right. Well, Mark, you're on the Forever campaign, so I think you're doing all right.
Yeah, I think we're doing so well. I sold out of my variant, so that's always a nice little thing that over the years. And now the getting issue 2 pushed out, that'll be even more exciting because it's been too long since I've been trying to get all 5 issues out. So just the fact that I'm on issue 2 now and we're getting that out this year, it's a huge accomplishment on my end.
That's all right. Listen, you're not the only one alone. You're not alone in that. There's a lot of people that have a lot of difficulties putting out their books on time. Right, Jay?
Yep.
Yep. But they're great looking books. This is
Damn right it is. Damn right it is, baby.
Awesome.
The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks launches on Friday night, February 13th at 8 p.m. We're going to be having a live stream for it. It reinterprets the Frankenstein's monster story in New York City with a female lead. And we tie in things that I liked growing up, like the Ron Perlman, Linda Hamilton, Beauty and the Beast. It gets a little bit off of there. Gets a little bit off of Hellboy. It gets a little bit off of Jessica Jones. Definitely an anti-Ghostbuster, right? Somebody needs to protect the creatures that go bump in the night. And Vicky Sticks is the last prayer for those who are damned. This is going to be a 24-page full color book written by me, illustrated by Denny Hadiwijaya. Yes, I pronounced it correctly. Thank you very much. Covered by Larry Toussaint, colored by Champe Ramirez, lettered by my wife, and there's going to be a bunch of other goodies that are incorporated with it. As always, for the last 10, 12 campaigns, there is a free reward for any repeat backers. There's also a reward for those who are there in the first 40 hours. And those are holochrome trading cards like these bad boys, right? So if you miss them, you can pick them up for $5 a pop afterwards, but it pays to be there because that $5 gets saved just for you returning to us, because I have no frequent flyer miles. I don't have that 7-card punch thing that says you get the 7th coffee for free, right? We got trading cards. People love trading cards.
And you can punch the trading cards, right?
And you can punch a trading card if you want to, baby. You can put a hole in it, and these are some of the cards that would be in the stretch goal rewards. The front cover, like I said, is illustrated by Larry Toussaint. That has the trade dress on it. We do not sell a secondary variant for something without the trade dress. All you got to do is flip it to the back of the cover, and you'll have that very nice unimpeded image. We got the usual tchotchkes too, stickers, stuff like that. But there will be original art. There will be brand new sketch covers in there as well. So here's one of our most recent books, right? Shield of the Interceptor number 6. That's the front cover with the trade dress, and then the back cover is the same thing, so you can display it any way you want without the title and all the other accoutrements as part of it. Can't wait to launch it. It's going to be running for 3 weeks, and we are part of a special promotion with myself, JD Calderon, Tom Hutchison, Marvin Wynn, Rob Moltari, and the first stretch goal in the campaign is going to be a trading card that if you get all of the books that are part of this set, the trading card puts together a really nice puzzle piece as a thank you, right? A cross promotional item event for all of us to say thank you to those who continue to support our work. And why don't you see some of the other guys that we rock and roll with that do kick-ass shit as well.
Yeah. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Now, one more time. When are you launching?
Friday night, February 13th.
Nice.
8 p.m. I mean, come on, bro. How do you not launch a monster book on Friday the 13th? You know what I'm saying, bro? It's like, hello, it's there. The date is there, right? Plus, my wedding anniversary is the next week, so I can't do it the following weekend. I gotta do it then.
Well, she's a letterer, so you can share as an anniversary, right?
That's the thing. She gets rewarded for the work that she's doing, which is not the work on the book. The work for being married to me and keeping me. That's a tough job, man. That's a tough job.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited. That's the first of 6 launches this year, and we're going to be firing them off left and right.
All right, cool. Mark.
Yes, sir.
You're up.
So earlier we talked about money and having no money. It made me think, is having more money actually a benefit? Because it will stifle your creativity, I would think. Or is there a certain amount of money that's like, okay, this is the bare minimum and I'm still able to utilize my creativity? What do you guys think on that?
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's go. All right, hold on. Let's see. Dan, why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, we mentioned, I think earlier in the show, hiring some big name artist to do a cover or something. So money is going to help you in that respect. Of course, there's the cost per talent ratio of the people working on your books and what you can afford, and finding that quality for the price that you can afford. It doesn't always stand that the higher the price, the more talent you're going to be seeing in your pages. So I don't think there's a direct correlation sometimes in the book budgets compared to what the book is going to end up looking like. But again, with those names, usually does sometimes come with a price tag. So, and then money again, as far as the money to blow on ads. We've seen people who spend a lot on ads. We said again earlier in the show that maybe the Facebook ads weren't working for some of us, but some people seem to aggressively put money into Google ads and such and see a big return on that. So, it's a difficult formula of where your money goes and getting the most bang for your buck. And of course, that takes a bit of research and trial and error. I found that the Facebook ads, for myself, didn't really move the needle that much. But some people are also just trying to find things within the algorithm to help them out. Recently, someone had stated they thought that the link within the post kills you in the algorithm, and you have to put the link in the comments. So, been experimenting with that. That's old news for many, I'm sure. But, again, I think just talking amongst each other, back to question one with community, then you learn these things and perhaps, find the best ways to market and get the most bang for your buck, as I said.
All right, cool. Ben, are you
Yes.
there? All right,
Yeah,
Dave.
finally.
All right, nice. All right, so what are your thoughts on the question,
What was the question again?
Mark?
The basics of the question is: do you think that there is a line on the amount of money you would need versus the creativity you have? And by having a ton of money, do you think that's a detriment to your creativity, or do you think that having no money is a bad thing in that way? It's like, what's the amount? Where's that line for you, and how do you translate between creativity and financials?
Oh, that's a toughie. Well, I'm lucky in that I can actually do my own drawing if I wanted to. In that aspect, I could save quite a bit just by simply deciding I just want to do the drawing myself. Because I just pay myself based on how well the project does. Now, the rate of return on how much you invest is that's a real tricky one. There's a lot of good artists out there. You want to hire them all, but of course you can't, and you're limited by your budget, and you're limited by how much you think the project will bring in. You can't predict. I mean, you can sort of predict, but it's difficult to know for sure. So I would say, if I would say just live within your means. If you think you can afford a guy to, if you think you can afford a artist or a writer or whatever, and you're willing to spend the money, and you think you'll get a big return on it, then yeah, I mean, I'd say go ahead and do it. But if you don't think, but the only way to find out is you actually do it. I mean, it could pay off for you big, or it could come it may not. So it's one of those things you just can't really predict. You can only hope for the best. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, Allan, what are you thinking?
We measure our success at Comic Cons in terms of how many chicken nuggets we can buy. Whether we got to get the kids meal or we can afford the whole 20-pack and 2 sauces. So yeah, more money would be great. I feel like that's one of those questions that and I know you're not saying this, Mark, but too often that feels like a question from somebody who's never had to worry about money. It's like, oh, money, you don't want more money. That's going to make it worse. Nah, man, money doesn't make it worse. Like, you can use that money wisely. Whether you want to spend it on advertising or hire better artists or make more books, or hell, I would love to hire someone who could manage my Kickstarter campaigns for me, ship out the books for me, all of the things that I hate doing so I can spend my time writing. Like, that would be more valuable to me than hiring, a super cool artist or whatever. Like, having the administrative stuff done would be amazing. And the thing is, as far as specifically, Mark, you asked about, money and creativity. If you have enough money, you can do enough cocaine to inspire your creativity. And so you're good. And
Love that, baby.
Well,
you can hire enough yes men to tell you that your ideas are brilliant with enough money. I mean, that's how Elon Musk exists, right? Is he just hires enough people to tell him how smart he is, and then, damn, he's smart. And when he screws up, you have a PR company that covers for all that for you. So yeah, you can either be more creative or at least have enough people to tell you how creative you are if you have enough money. Now, I don't know if you were talking Elon Musk money, but you don't even need full on Elon Musk money. Even half of Elon Musk money would be enough to hire a bunch of yes men.
Well, I mean, a good example there. You could also just be a good influencer too. I mean, if you look at Ethan Van Sciver and Rippaverse, I mean, those are good examples of guys who've built their audience and then sold their comic, and they were widely successful with them, and they made huge amounts of money, for an independent comic. So if you want to go that route, you could do that too as well.
I think also you gotta have a minimum of money though, because there is the point where, and we've seen it on Kickstarter, and of course all us here are upstanding members of the community, but the people who make their comic or have the idea of making their comic raise that money, not having any money to begin with. Now they're going to get the book made. That money tends to creep into bills, or, oh man, Jordan 11 Gammas, I have to have them. So, the money goes a little there. And then before you know it, they're like, where's the book? Because there's money left. So I think what they say, you need money. You need to have money to make money. I think there has to be a minimum of, having some money to invest to begin with. And then at least for number one, raise the funds and put that to number two. But I think starting from scratch without it might be a little road to disaster.
Well, I mean, that was, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Ben.
Well, that was the whole reason for crowdfunding to begin with.
Yeah. And it's funny because I know Niobe has had this difference, has had this point before. It used to be, like you said, Dan, you crowdfund and you use that money to make a comic. But the way crowdfunding on comics works, we make all of our comics before we even start our campaign. And whatever we make from that campaign, some of it goes to printing and then everything else goes to the next comic. Because I think so many people have been burned by the kind of creators that you're talking about, that they want confidence that they're going to get a product.
Yeah.
Hello.
Ben, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Now we don't.
Ben really is having problems.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare Ben away. I swear I love Ben. I'm not trying to take him out, but I feel like every time I talk, he disconnects.
But yeah, like Alan's saying, I think that the people who have burnt the audience have changed the landscape a bit. And, you know, in my book at least, I'm a little shakier on sample pages or just character concepts.
Hello?
Out some pages.
Ben, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on, man. It keeps kicking me off the stream for some reason.
It's really weird.
But what I was going to say was that I think lots of people lost sight of what crowdfunding was originally intended to set up. You know, you weren't actually supposed to have your product ready. You know, the whole idea was that you didn't have the money to make hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, this is so weird. Okay, so anyway, the idea was that you didn't have enough money to do your project, so you asked people to back it, you know, and then you completed your project. Okay, but now it's gotten to the point where it's become sort of a point of sale, you know, where people expect to order something just like any other online retailer, and then they're expected to ship. Now, you know, Kickstarter very clearly states there is no expectation of you getting a reward, but if you don't fulfill your campaign, you're going to lose the trust of the backers, and you're not going to get that backer to back any future project. So, you know, unless you know, then it becomes sort of like a scam to a lot of people, you know, because, I gave this guy my money and he never delivered any of the promises that he made on, you know, his campaign. And that's what gives crowdfunding a little bit of a bad name when creators who don't fulfill their campaigns or fill them in a reasonable amount of time, people are wary of that. You know, they become, well, if this guy is unproven, and that's why I always thought Kickstarter should have like a little rating system for creators so that people can trust that creator that they're going to deliver their campaign. You know? But anyway, that's I digress on that. But anyway, I think, you know, that's one of the things that people forget that crowdfunding was originally set up for, you know, and I think people have lost sight of that.
All right, cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I could use the money. It's going to help me be creative. I could finally pay myself, right?
Well, but you got to deliver, man. You got to deliver.
Let's say that, you know, every penny I make, I reinvest in the system, right? I'm almost like Dan. I'm 3 years away from retiring from the day job. Once that's done, I could go full time, baby, and I'm going to worry about where the next paycheck is coming in from, right? All my benefits are taken care of, my retirement's taken care of, and I could do comic books full time.
But why are you doing comics? You better off just investing in the stock market.
No, I don't. The stock market is not where I'm at, and I have a love for comic books. Like all of us here, I have a love for this, right?
Well, you know what they say: the quickest way to lose money is to do comics.
Yeah. I did. I lost money. I can't say I didn't lose money learning how to do this. I did, you know. But I take risks that I can mitigate on my own, right? The risks that I take are not in the 5 figures. The risks that I take are in the upper 3s, maybe the lower 4 figures. Something that I can get back on if I screw up.
I mean, the first and foremost thing is that we have to love comics. Okay, we have to love doing them. Okay, if you don't have the passion or the willingness or the love to do comics, then why in the world are you doing them? Okay, there's no reason for you to do them. Okay, if you're just doing it for the money, people can catch on to that really quick.
Of course, they can. Yeah.
There are creators. There are some people out there that are just in it to make their money. You know, to take advantage of with some weird, you know, title or something like that to do parodies of other people's IPs. to make a quick buck,
Right.
and
Right, definitely. You're right. I'm not here, doing new cheeky titty books. You know what I mean? There's actual story behind my stuff. I try to entertain people with this, but the money would also help to get me to do conventions that are outside of my local area. Right? I do cons that are just about maybe 12 to 18 hours within driving distance of where I'm at. So that's usually East Coast to early Midwest. Right? I've never done any shows on the West Coast at all. I'd love to do that. Again, try to be part of other signing events or things like Free Comic Book Day in stores that are outside of my area so I can expand my consumer base. The money would help me do that. Right? And the money would help me hire the personal assistant to take care of the mundane everyday stuff so I can focus more on the creative. Right? As of right now, the only time that I got to work on creative is maybe 2 hours a night if I'm lucky after the day job. And then on the day off, a few hours before anybody gets up.
Yeah, but why do you do it?
Because I love you, dude.
Well, that's right. You love it. That's the important thing. You love it. I mean, why would you put yourself through all that? Okay, when to be honest, you could probably make more money working at McDonald's. Okay,
of course it could. Of course it could. All the information that I've accrued, trying to keep the lights on while I'm making comic books, I could apply that to a pizzeria in New York City and still make dough.
Our dream is to make comics because our ultimate goal is for us to create something that will stand the test of time, that people will love, okay, and that you can change people's lives with. I mean, I'm not saying that every comic's going to be that way, but there must be something about it that attracts us to want to continue to do it. Because it's just there's something inherently innate about the creativity of comics, and that's when you're talking about community. Okay, the community of comics is beautiful because we all have a dream of our characters, our stories, our creative minds to share them with other people. Because in reality, okay, most people have this idea and a dream and it's stuck in their head. They never do anything with it. Okay, it's just in their head. We, as a community of creators, we want to share our ideas, and this is what we do. That's basically the real reason why we do this. Because like I said, I don't have to do comics. I could have just done a 9-to-5 job. I would have probably been perfectly happy. But I've got you and all these people who are in the comic book creative community. We have these ideas, and that we want to share. And then hopefully people will want to support us, by giving, by helping, by financial support, and so as we can continue to bring our ideas to life. You know what I'm saying?
Jay, don't listen to him. Go work at McDonald's because then you can make my dream of unlimited chicken nuggets come true.
There you go. You to fuck up, Alan. Let's go, baby.
All the ones that fell on the floor. And I want all the sauces, man.
All day, kid.
And greedy.
I want that Mulan sauce.
That's right, man. I want Szechuan sauce. I want
Szechuan sauce all day long.
Yeah. I want the Ghostbuster sauce. I want all the sauces.
I wasn't a fan of that Mulan sauce. That didn't do it, man. That was over the top. That Mulan sauce, what is it? The shake that they do for St. Patrick's Day, and the McRib. I can fucking do without.
Shamrock shake.
Shamrock shake. There you go.
Shamrock shake.
Ugh. But I got your back, Alan.
Liquid sugar.
Nice.
That's how we help each other in community, sharing chicken nuggets.
Right,
There
man.
you go.
Right, man.
Tell you what, man, you go work at McDonald's, I'll go work at Arby's, I'll give you all the curly fries you want.
Oh, with some horseradish sauce inside?
Yeah, of course, man, all the horseshoe sauce.
That's a fucking dream, kid.
Living the dream.
Listen, Alan, at one point, we might make enough money at that show to get a burger. Right?
And there's a reason they're still around, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, for myself, I mean, being self-financed, right? I think that's the biggest issue. Is that what I need is more money, right?
Yes.
Ben,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mute you for a second because we're getting a lot of feedback whenever somebody talks. All right. If you want to talk, just unmute and just come back in.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah. So the thing is that being self-financed, I need more cash to keep it going, right? Because whatever cash I get, I just give to my artists. I don't pull any out for myself. So yeah, it's more cash always, right? But the thing is even if I didn't have the cash, I would still work on the books. They would just probably be prose, right? So I would probably just be writing prose. I wouldn't be writing comic books at that point. But, you know, I got hooked into comics very early on, and it's the sort of thing that I just enjoy that medium. So, you know, it's just something I like working in. I love seeing the stories come to life through those visuals, right? Whereas through prose, you know, it's fun. You see it in your head and you know, whatever, but, you know, only, you know, that level of psychosis can only last so long. So I actually want to see it on the page. So for the visual. So with that being said, you know, it requires more cash, and the more cash, I would say, the better, because I've been fortunate in this journey where I've been able to backload a lot of material. Right, that's why I can release campaign after campaign after campaign. I can just do it over and over and over again. Like I said, I have enough material to run about 13 campaigns at this point, right? And by the time I hit that 13th campaign, I'll probably have enough material to run another 13 campaigns. And that's only because I backloaded, because I had cash at the time. So I got lucky at a couple points. So, you know, that's why I think, you know, instead of spending that, you know, that extra cash on going on vacation or putting it into a 401k or an IRA, as Ben has suggested, you know, I did the crazy thing and I invested in comics, or I invested in my hobby. That's what I did. So my very, very expensive hobby. So Mark, how do you feel about it? Answer your own question.
So I think that I'm going to be like a Daniel-san. There has to be some type of balance, but I think that having an abundance of money will affect your creativity, only because, speaking personally, having negative money for most of the time I've been doing this, I'm amazed by how much I've been able to accomplish. And my friends are always telling me, wow, look how much you've done with this. Imagine if you had money. And I'm always thinking, I don't know if I would have done as much. I've been so driven to try to navigate and find a little nooks and crannies all the way through. But yes, having some money, like a base minimum to work off of, would be nice. So I think it's a balance of both. And I'm always just go right back to Star Wars. Like the original 3, he had to have creativity more than money to make a far superior product than the prequels, which he had all the money, and a lot of people felt that it was lacking. Yes, Jay?
Sorry. I see where you're going with it.
Okay.
I gotta throw this at you, brother.
Yes, throw it at me.
He had a wife, and it was his wife that edited Star Wars and Empire. And those are the two best of the whole. She took what he did and she created a narrative, right, that kept us engaged for over 40 fucking years. She is the true unsung hero in this whole thing.
Right, but I think that still leads to Mark's point. He had so much money, he could then go out and get a trophy wife who wasn't as good at editing.
That's true. That is very true.
I stand corrected, gentlemen. I stand corrected.
And I'll be honest with you, I my favorite of the 3 movies is Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yes.
Me too.
Does the Ewoks look like your mouse? I mean,
no. It's because what it is that in that final film we got to see Luke as a Jedi.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
You understand? We got to see his final form. You know, that's why I like Digimon, you know, because, you know, the final form. That's why.
Okay.
right?
All right,
But that's what it is.
Yeah, fair enough,
Yeah.
baby.
The Ewok stuff, yeah, I could have lived without, but
You didn't like the Jub Jub song?
I mean, listen, every now and again I have to put it on just to just have it on,
I'm disgusted right now.
Listen, and you want to hear something? Oh no, that's not true. I was about to say I don't have any Star Wars figures, and that's not true. I do have a few.
Yeah, I got some. There you go. There you go. And you know what? I'm sorry. In your defense, the Jub Jub song is a hell of a lot better than that song they put in a special edition when they did Jabba's Palace.
See?
Oh, that was bad.
That's him having money. That's so he didn't have
having money.
That's him having money for sure. Yeah.
Okay, having money or having too many yes men, right?
Well, he has the money for the too many yes men.
Okay.
That's what Allan was talking about earlier.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Bringing it all back. Okay.
Bring it all back. There you go. All right, John.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead, Ben.
It says, why does every conversation lead to Star Wars? Almost every time I get on some talk, it's like, hey, there's a Star Wars conversation we got to get into.
Because it binds the community. It's
a multi-generational. It's a multi-generational property, crazy if you think about it. Like, how many years is it going on? How many? Even if the person hasn't seen it, they know of it.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. But you have to remember that nobody wanted to do Star Wars when he first proposed it to people. Everybody thought, George, you're freaking crazy. No one wants to see this stuff. It only was because some guy took a chance at 20th century. Yeah, all right, we'll give you a chance.
But took a chance after he bankrupted.
Not only that, they had the theater owners didn't want to show it either. They had Fox had to bribe or force them to carry Star Wars, in their theaters. And he took the risk. Okay, I mean, yes, Marshall Lucas probably saved the movie with their editing, but she would have nothing to edit if George hadn't actually filmed the actual movie. And he came up with the idea, came with the characters. I mean, she is an unsung hero for sure, and she probably saved the movie from George himself. But like I said, it was he who created the whole thing, and that's what we are. We want to be the next George Lucas. We want to create something that will stand the test of time, that people will remember, decades from now.
And jumping on that point, if you remember, George actually wanted to make a Flash Gordon, but he couldn't afford to do it. So if he had the money, he would have just made Flash Gordon, as opposed to the creativity that he needed because he didn't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that he should be an inspiration, really. To us to achieve what, to try to achieve things that, I mean, it's a risk. All of us are taking a risk, and we're hoping that it'll pay off. Money is something that we need in order for us to continue our dream. And hopefully we can convince enough people to support us financially so that we can continue to keep putting out, products that they enjoy and that we love to do.
Cool. I got one last question for everybody. It's a nice softball question. So here we go. Who is your biggest creative influence in indie comics? Right? And I think we're back to
That's like asking, which kid do I love the most? I mean, there's just too many to name.
I know. Well, Ben, hold on. Allan is up.
I love the team at Addict Media out of Florida. I think what they've done with their comics has been really, really amazing. And they're, to your point, JD, they're very much active in the community, and they're very encouraging of other comics creators. So I really appreciate them and what they're doing, and they're just constantly on the go and constantly moving and doing new things. So I think Addict Media is probably kind of my biggest influence in terms of a company.
Okay, that's cool. Attic Door.
Attic Door Media, yeah.
Okay, because I'll be honest, I've never heard of him. I've never heard of him.
Well, I mean, it's hard, right? There are so many.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are tons of people out there, and like keeping up is tough.
Yeah. I'll post in the chat a link to their website.
No, that's cool. I'd like to check that out. Dan, so who's your creative influence?
I don't know. It's kind of like you set me up here with Ben. It's right here. Press. I told you, 89 Ninja High School yearbook #1. He had this cover with all these characters, and he blended action with characterization. So in that respect, Antarctic Press and Ben, the Image Comics revolution. I mean, there were some earlier indie superhero comics. AC Comics had Phase 1 phasers. There was a Phase 1 by Renegade Comics. So there was a bunch of like a little Age of Heroes. Yeah, Age of Heroes had Renegades. Victory Comics had Phase 1. So there were a lot of like little indie superhero things that put me on the path towards publishing indie superheroes. So it's tough to nail it down. That was even pre-Image. So yeah, I think it's an accumulation of a lot. I would have a very hard time just saying one, but I've been meaning to see that Star Wars that you guys are talking about, but I thought that the whole thing seemed illogical. So this whole Force thing, so I couldn't get behind it. No, actually, so Star Wars, of course, but yeah, I have to say, like, a lot of great indie superhero books, and there's just more and more coming out every year that keeps you motivated just by picking those up.
All right, cool. But Phase 1 phasers was Vic Bridges. That was AC. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a Phase 1 by
Victory yes. Comics. There was a Phase 1. Yes, there was.
Victory Comics, Rob Durham, who became the artist for Cave Woman, he made that Phase 1,
right.
Which was a PH phase instead of a F phase.
Right.
Yeah, and then Age of Heroes had Renegades, which go find copies of that. There's a challenge for you.
Here you go, Jay. He should see Laser Blast.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
Never.
Right. Yeah. Hey, what's up? So Ben, what are your thoughts on the question?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. I would probably have to say Eastman and Laird with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. I mean, they were so instrumental in me deciding to do Antarctic Press because they just show that two guys with an idea, in a black and white comic, when the direct market was just starting out. I mean, it showed that you could do a comic book and be successful with it. They were very inspirational for me as far as business wise and creative wise. They knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, they were very influential on me.
All right, that's cool. Mark.
I'm gonna cheat and pander to this question. First, I would say would be Mr. JD Calderon, because I knew you before I knew you, and what you've managed to do from when I first met you, before we knew each other, to where you are now, is an incredible inspiration for any independent comic book creator out there, because you have a system now. You've turned it into a system of what you're doing. You're like a machine from where you were in the beginning. My second one would be Dave Bryan with War of the Independents, because he was the first person that published my character in his books. So I gotta throw that out there. And also, I'm gonna say Mike Kingston with Headbutt, who's gonna be our guest for our 100th show. He is the hardest working guy I've seen in the industry, because I first met him, he was just starting out. We actually were his very first interview at a convention, And from where he started to where he's at now, multiple books, he's grown his table at convention. I've seen him growing good big. I've seen him reach out and see him every single week in someplace while still maintaining his regular 9-to-5 job. I've seen him everywhere, and I've seen how hard he works to get where he's at.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Matt Wagner. Grendel, Mage were the indie books that I was picking up, right? When I was picking up the other stuff, right? I was looking forward to that stuff. I you know, Hunter Rose is fucking badass, bro. You know, Allan mentioned the Sehn before, right? It's just that highbrow, elite assassin kind of story got to me. And then, you know, Mage was just low. The fucking my book, Shield of the Interceptor, is almost a direct influence from Mage, man. So Matt Wagner is the man, dude.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I would say Matt Wagner was one of my influences, but I got a few others.
You said one. You're not a few. You said one. You can't cheat on your own question.
No, I can. Cheat on any question I want. It's my question.
Show his rules.
Exactly. There are no rules. For me. But no. But Dave Sim will probably be one of my big influences. I mean, especially early on, just to see the way he formatted and constructed his stories, the way he constructed panel construction, the way he wrote these things. I mean, it was just, you know, and then something I wish I could do, but I don't have the time or the patience, is the way he lettered his books, right? His lettering was always immaculate in those books, and it was just incredible. It was part of the art, right? And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I try to change up fonts and do funky little things once in a while with certain characters, but the stuff he did or him and Gerhard did was insane at times. So, you know, like Dan, another one of my big influences was Bill Black over at Americomics, Phase 1 Phases, which was Vic Bridges, not Bill, but I also liked Captain Paragon was a huge influence on me as well. So, and there's JD's favorite Bill Willingham over with Elementals.
Yeah. Yes, Premier.
Yes, I love Bill Willingham. I love all right, so you know, so just to let you know. All right, gentlemen, listen, we've made it to hour 2. Thank you so much. You guys are all awesome. This was great. So let's start with Allan. Allan, please, where can we find you and your work?
So our website is greenarcher.io, but you can also find us on YouTube and Instagram just at Green Archer Comics.
All right, cool. Dan.
Yeah, I'm on Argo Comics on Facebook and Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. I do have the Dan Sehn account as well on Facebook, and Argo Comics. I branched out to Blue Sky. I don't even know if it's happening or not anymore, but I jumped in on that. And YouTube, there's an Argo Comics channel, which is mainly what I've been picking up on the indie comic scene. So I go over that each month.
All right, cool. Ben, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Well, you can find me on bendunncomics.com, and you can also check out the Antarctic Press website and the app as well. And I'm looking to, that's where you can find me.
All right. Now, before we move any further, Jay, Mark, you see that there? It's on the screen. There you go.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. Bill Willingham.
Bill Willingham. There you go.
Yeah, I got you.
Mark, Where can we find you and your work, sir?
You can find us at www.kingstonradio.com. It links us to all the 45 different podcast places where the show's available. You can also listen to us on the air Sundays at 6 p.m. on WGBB, Long Island's oldest radio station. That's 95.5 FM and simulcast on 1240 AM. We're also in Westchester County on 88.1 FM, WARY. And on my website, you can get my book, Designated, a book about two warring alien races fighting an nuclear power source, or fight to slay planet Earth as a result of some human scanning abilities. And also, I want to mention that this Wednesday, January 14th, at the East Middle Public Library, we're going to have our 100th live show with Mike Kingston as our guest. We're going to be giving away a copy of his book as a raffle. And we're also going to be giving away some free tickets to the Long Island Convention of Horror. That will be a convention that's at the end of February. So come on down. It's a free event. Join us on Wednesday at the East Middle Public Library. That's www.eastmiddle.info.
Very cool.
All right, cool.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, Jay, where can we find you and your work?
Oh, unstoppablecomics.com. You can find all my social media links on the website, unstoppablecomics.com. Friday nights, Comic Book Streamland with this guy over here. It's just what you would hear if you were eavesdropping at BarCon after any conventions. There's just the guys shooting the shit, talking comics, busting chops on each other, sometimes talking Star Wars toys, but yeah, and sometimes process, right? You just want to hang out and have a good time, just let your hair down for a little bit on Friday night. You got nothing better to do? Check us out, Comic Book Streamland. And Sundays, again, with this guy on his show, Indy Comics Explained.
All right. And listen, and sometimes we talk about Laser Blast.
Oh, yeah. I hate that movie. I can't believe it. I hate that movie so much.
That's a recurring joke with Jay. I'm telling you, we're going to get you that little alien to put with Galactus, bro.
Okay. Get out of here.
All right. So thank you so much, everybody. And please, everybody, check out the show notes. In the show notes are all the links to all the books that all these creators create. So please click on those links, pick up those books, because these creators have a lot of passion and a lot of energy for their books. So please go check out their books. Go buy some of these books and support these creators. All right.
Mr. Calderon, you forgot something.
What did I forget?
Where can people find you?
Oh, right. Well, you can find me here next week. You find me here next week. You find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of the JD Calderon, all those different places, and Kickstarter at some point very soon. All right. But again, though, check out the show notes, check out these creators, check out their books, and thank you so much, everyone. Just remember, everybody, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night.
Go 49ers.